Good evening, you're now with me, Handigui for TVS Nightline, and here are the headlines for tonight. 11,000 residents evacuated following Ruang volcano eruption. Flights to and from Sabah and Sarawak cancelled for safety reasons. And Abang Johari said political willpower is vital for the world to address climate change. Indonesian rescuers raced to evacuate thousands of people earlier today following the eruption of Mount Ruang, and authorities were forced to close a nearby airport and issued a warning about falling debris that could cause a tsunami. Mount Ruang's crater flamed with lava against a backdrop of lightning bolts overnight after erupting 4 times on Wednesday, pushing an ash column more than a mile into the sky and forcing authorities to raise its alert level to the highest of a 4-tiered system.
Officials said the volcano, which sits on a remote island in Indonesia's outermost region with a peak 725 meters above sea level, was still billowing a column of smoke up to 800 meters high early this morning. Houses on the neighboring remote island of Tagulandang were riddled with holes from falling volcanic rocks on Thursday, rescuers said, and residents were preparing to leave at least temporarily. There were no reports of deaths or injuries, but authorities said they were rushing to evacuate more than 11,000 residents from the area around Tagulandang, home to around 20,000 people.
Yang terjadi kemarin, erupsi Gunung Raung ini mengeluarkan material berupa batu-batu kecil, berdampak kepada masyarakat yang berada di luar radius itu juga terkena. Artinya melebihi dari 5 km.
Tourists and residents were warned to remain outside a 6-kilometer exclusion zone. More than 800 people were initially taken from Ruang to Tagulandang after the first eruption on Tuesday evening, before 4 more eruptions on Wednesday prompted evacuations from that island.
Malam ini kurang lebih jam 8 malam telah menunjukkan aktivitas meletusnya Gunung Ruang ini dengan menunjukkan percikan-percikan api dan lahar yang turun dari puncak menuju ke bawah.
The impact of Mount Ruang's eruption led to the closure of Sam Ratulangi International Airport in Manado City, located more than 100 kilometers from the volcano, for 24 hours until this evening before being extended to midnight. Manado Region Airport Authority Office in a statement said the airport runways in Manado were shut due to the spread of volcanic ash, which could endanger flight safety. Malaysia Airlines and AirAsia also cancelled flights to and from 9 airports in East Malaysia and Brunei until tomorrow morning. The volcano's last major eruption was in 2002, causing damage to nearby settlements and also requiring the evacuation of residents.
Now, cancellations of flights to and from Borneo are essential for the safety of flight crews and passengers following the eruption of Mount Ruang in Indonesia. Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak, Dato Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah said this is a precautionary step taken by airline operators.
I think that we have to take precaution. I believe it's so, because I'm also relying on the news on it, because this is something which is unexpected. I was quite surprised to see something like this happening not very far from Borneo, the volcano, the Gunung Ruang. Yeah.
Now, the world is heating up as we speak, and the rise in Earth's temperature is rapidly reaching its threshold by 1.5 degrees Celsius. If it does reach this threshold, humanity may cease to exist along with most other species. And seeing how vital it is to address climate change, several European countries have taken interest in what Sarawak is currently doing to reduce emissions and utilizing green energy. Hence, Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng said this will be the focal point of his speech during his visit to Poland tomorrow to push for the political will of various countries to transition into cleaner energy.
The key is the willpower. The willpower, whether the government is committed or not. You see, on average, 2023, temperature pun increase adalah 1.45 Celsius tahun 2023 tahun lepas. Bermakna based on Paris Agreement, kalaunya lepas 1.5 become a threat to the world. UAE 75 tahun sekarang dah ada flood yang begitu teruk. Mungkin kita signali dengan baik, maka 20, 24, 25 mungkin reach 1.5. And that is the threshold for the survival of mankind.
He spoke during the Hari Raya Aidilfitri Open House of the Second Deputy Minister for Utility and Telecommunication, Dr. Abdul Rahman Junaidi, on Thursday, April 18th. At the same time, Abang Johari also commented on the recent volcano eruption in North Sulawesi on how the state government will handle the situation if the smoke enters Sarawak's airspace.
Yang naga kedak ni angin. Yang kita khawatir yang partikel. Partikel. Kerana orang that's why balloon cepat terbang because of semua partikel. Kalau gini kata saintis, saya bukan saintis.
Met Malaysia forecasted that the plume from the volcano would reach the northern part of Sarawak by tomorrow. Hence, it cautioned residents of Limbang all the way to Bintulu to continuously monitor the air quality. Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng, will participate as a panel member in the Central European Hydrogen Technology Forum and the Central European Decarbonisation Forum in Poznan, Poland. The event, taking place from April 24th to 25th, will feature the Sarawak Premier as a panelist in the Debate Regions for the Planet session, scheduled from 11 a.m. to noon local time on April 24th. According to a statement released by his office, Abang Johari's delegation will consist of Deputy Premier, cum Minister of International Trade, Industry and Investment, Dato' Amar Awang Tengah Ali Hassan, State Secretary, Dato' Amar Muhammad Abu Bakar Marzuki, and Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Dato' Dr. Hazlan Abang Hibni. His schedule includes a 3-day layover in the United Kingdom, where he plans to visit the Drax power plant in Selby, North Yorkshire. The next day, the Premier will attend the signing and exchange of a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) between Sarawak's SMD Semiconductor and UK's Compound Semiconductor Applications Catapult at the House of Commons, UK Parliament in London. The MOU aims to establish collaboration between Sarawak and its British partner to drive innovation in compound semiconductors composed of 2 or more elements, in contrast to silicon, which is made from a single element. This collaboration seeks to reshape the capabilities and applications of compound semiconductors.
The political secretary to the Sarawak Premier, Abdul Samad Ghani, today lodged a police report against the owner of a Facebook account named Charles Roger Francis for making several defamatory posts against the Sarawak Premier and other Sarawakian leaders. Abdul revealed that statements made by Charles regarding the Premier of Sarawak, Dato' Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tunopeng, Deputy Premier Sarawak and Minister of Works, Dato' Sri Alexander Nantan Linggi, were deemed insensitive, defamatory, insulting and baseless.
Tinggi jadi hari ini kita buat laporan polis untuk pihak polis mengambil tindakan sewajarnya, membuat siasatan lanjut terhadap yang membuat kenyataan di Facebook kan. Ya, termasuk juga kata-kata yang menyinggung perasaan SPP juga lah.
Abdul said this during a press conference after filing a police report at the Satok police station earlier today. He remarked that similar police reports will also be lodged in Cebu, Miri, as well as in Bintulu. He clarified that at the time of filing the report, they had not yet determined the whereabouts of the perpetrator, as the statements were only made through Facebook. He said the police would investigate the case under Section 502 of the Penal Code, while for the MCMC, the case would be investigated under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998, Act 588.
Now, a total allocation of 82 million ringgit has been approved for the socio-economic enhancement program for the people in areas under the administration of the Betong Division Development Agency (BDDA). Chairman of the BDDA Steering Committee, Dato' Omar Douglas Ugah Umbas, announced that 15.5 million ringgit has been earmarked for the implementation of various community impact projects this year.
Kita telah memperuntukkan 82 juta untuk program peningkatan pendapatan ini untuk semua kawasan di BDDA, dan untuk tahun ini kita telah merancang untuk membelanja 15.5 juta, dan kita berharap program ini dapat kita jalankan. Ini cukup penting sekali kerana bagi kami wakil-wakil rakyat di kawasan BDDA, yang paling penting adalah bagaimana kita nak berusaha untuk meningkatkan pendapatan masyarakat di luar bandar, khususnya di kawasan BDDA.
He said this after chairing a meeting to discuss coordinating the implementation of BDDA projects related to agricultural assistance, livestock, fisheries and entrepreneurs at Wisma Bapak Malaysia earlier today. Meanwhile, Ugah, who is also the Deputy Premier of Sarawak, emphasized that this significant allocation aligns with the government's commitment to furnish essential infrastructure aimed at catalyzing high-income generation within the region. He further underscored the collective optimism among BDDA representatives for the seamless execution and sustained success of each planned project, ultimately yielding tangible benefits for the populace.
The nephew of a man whose body was discovered near a lake in Senadin yesterday has been detained for 7 days until April 25th. Miri Police Chief ACP Alexan Nagachabu in a statement said the suspect appeared in the Magistrates Court this morning for the detention request under Section 117 of the Criminal Procedure Code.
According to him, the case is being investigated under Section 302 of the Penal Code for murder. The Miri Criminal Investigation Department team apprehended the nephew, aged in his 20s, during a raid on a Tudan house at 2 p.m. yesterday. The initial investigation revealed that the motive for the killing stemmed from a family dispute. The disagreement arose from a domestic altercation among family members. Police received a report from a member of the public at 9:03 a.m. yesterday regarding an unconscious man discovered by the lakeside. The body of the 57-year-old was taken to Miri Hospital for a post-mortem. Alexan cautioned against speculation about the case as it could disrupt the investigation. Anyone with relevant information should visit the nearest police station or contact the investigation officer on the number shown on screen.
Now, an elderly woman, 76-year-old Minu Keen, is suspected to be the latest victim of crocodile attacks at Sungai Rayu, Lundu earlier this morning. According to Lundu District Police Chief DSP Demetarius Lortin, the daughter, who was nearby in another area, heard her mother scream several times before discovering that she had disappeared. Accompanied by her 54-year-old daughter, she had gone to the river to look for clams. She rushed over only to find her mother gone, believed to have been attacked and snatched into the river by a crocodile. The daughter hurried back to the village in Kampong Sungai Bilian to inform other family members of the incident. According to Damataris, efforts are now underway to locate the victim. Assisting in the search and rescue operation are the Fire and Rescue Department along with local villagers. Demetari said they found traces of blood some 500 meters from the Kampong Sungai Rayu Bridge. He added that the family also found the victim's clothing some 200 meters downstream. Given the prevalence of crocodiles in the area, it is suspected that Minukin fell victim to one of the man-eating reptiles. 8 police personnel charged at the court for possessing meat of protected species, and Palestine's application to be a member of the UN approved by veto-wielding United States. We'll uncover all these right after the break, only on TVS Nightline. Stay tuned. Hello there and welcome back. Now, the sport industry plan is now in its final phase, which outlines strategies and initiatives to benefit the sports industry and generate returns to the nation's economy. According to Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi, the matter was brought up at the Cabinet Committee meeting on Sports Development No. 1/2024, which he chaired earlier today. Zahid, who is also the chairman of the Sports Development Cabinet Committee, said in a statement the gross value added of the sports industry had increased from 17.5 billion ringgit in 2021 to 19.6 billion ringgit last year. Meanwhile, the meeting also agreed on the implementation of a strategic partnership between the Anti-Doping Agency Malaysia, ADAMAS, and the Ministry of Youth and Sports with the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Higher Education, and the Ministry of Health in anti-doping education. Zahid said the collaboration is for the sake of athletes in higher education institutions, athletes in the 21st Sarawak Malaysia Games Sukma and the 2024 Sarawak Para Sukma, along with the execution of the Kenali Ubat Anda Know Your Medication educational initiative. Other than that, the meeting also serves as a platform for all ministries to play their respective roles in improving the sports industry in the country, as well as resolving all sports-related issues effectively. Now, Malaysia is sending close to 20 participants from diverse backgrounds to join the Break the Siege Freedom Flotilla mission to Gaza 2024, anticipated to span 2 weeks. And a group of 19 participants, including 4 from Humanitarian Care Malaysia or MyCare and 4 media practitioners, is preparing to travel to Turkey to kickstart the voyage. Scheduled for April 21st, this expedition will see over 1,000 participants from 30 countries, with various backgrounds joining in. The humanitarian mission under the Freedom Flotilla Coalition (FFC) aims to deliver urgent humanitarian aid such as medical supplies, food packages, clothing, and shelter tents, including 8 ambulances directly to the people of Gaza via sea route. Malaysia's 20 volunteers will undergo 2 days of non-violence training as preparation for any eventualities. The safety aspect of the participants is the main focus, with the original objective of the mission being to deliver humanitarian aid and not to provoke or engage in conflict with the Israeli military. Apart from MyCare, several other non-governmental organizations will also participate, including Insani Yardim Vakfi, IHH, Ship to Gaza Norway, Rambo Gaza, US Ship to Gaza, Sweden Ship to Gaza, Canada boat to Gaza, Freedom Flotilla Italia, KIA Ora to Gaza, Palestine Solidarity Alliance, Mavi Marmara Freedom and Solidarity Association, Miles of Smiles, and Free Gaza Australia. 8 police personnel from the Federal Reserve Unit FRU were charged for possessing mouse deer meat, a protected species in the country under the Wildlife Conservation Act 2010. All of them did not own valid licenses to keep the meat and pleaded not guilty during trial in Seremban's Session Court before Judge Masni Nawi. The accused are Rusli Che Omar, 42 years old, Jafri Muhammad Tayyib, 49, Muhammad Khalid Ibrahim, 50, Azharuddin Yahya, 40, Muhammad Izamuddin Zainul, 38, Muhammad Yusuf Muhammad Yunus, 39, Mahathir Osman, 41, and Jazias Joseph, 36. According to Judge, all of them were caught committing the offence around 1 p.m. on January 17, 2021, along a road and Kampong Talang in Kuala Pilah. The meat was kept in a chiller found in a four-wheel drive. The 8 were charged under Section 60(1)(b) of the Act, read together with Section 34 of the Penal Code, which carries a jail term of up to 50,000 ringgit or a jail term of up to 2 years or both upon conviction. During the trial, Wildlife and National Parks Prosecuting Officer Amanina Mohammed Anwar offered each of them a bail of 20,000 ringgit pending remention. To this, lawyer Hanif Hassan, who represented Geoffrey, asked for a bail of 2,000 ringgit as the accused could not afford to collect 20,000 ringgit. The others have also asked for a lower bail. Judge Masni then set the bail at a set amount for each of the accused and set June 12 for the next hearing. The United Nations Security Council UNSC's decision regarding the Palestinians' application for full membership in the UN has been postponed until Friday while discussions persist. Regardless of the voting date, the Palestinian endeavour seemed destined for failure given the staunch and unreserved opposition from the United States. Earlier, multiple diplomatic sources stated that the vote was scheduled for Thursday. However, the situation has evolved since then, with certain member states now requesting a Friday vote. Slovenian ambassador to the UN, Samuel Bogar, told reporters that the matter is still under question, while Palestinian envoy Riyad Mansour is confident that the vote will take place on Friday at 3 p.m. It's important to note that in the process of becoming a UN member state, the initial step involves submission to the Security Council, to which the United States, an ally of Israel among other countries, hold the power to veto. Subsequently, the request must gain approval from the General Assembly. Against the backdrop of Israel's genocidal offensive in Gaza, Palestinians resurrected their UN membership application from 2011 last week, prompting the Security Council to initiate a formal review process. In a recent court decision in Japan, the Ainu indigenous people's bid to reclaim rights over river fishing for salmon was dismissed. A Sapporo District Court spokesman confirmed the dismissal despite the plaintiffs, Rapporo Ainu Nation representative Hiromasa Shishima, arguing for exemption based on long-standing traditions in Hokkaido.
This legal battle reflects efforts to reclaim rights historically taken from Ainu ancestors who traditionally relied on fishing for livelihood. This marks the first court ruling on indigenous rights related to the Ainu people who historically inhabited northern Japan and parts of present-day Russia. Despite referencing global trends favoring indigenous rights recognition, the presiding judge maintained that river fishing was not an inherent right for Ainu people. Presently, Ainu individuals can only fish for salmon with approval from Hokkaido's governor for cultural heritage purposes. Throughout a 4-year legal battle, authorities have consistently rejected the plaintiffs' request to reinstate fishing rights, deeming them legally groundless. Additionally, authorities have defended current fishing regulations, asserting their importance as safeguards against the depletion of critical resources such as salmon.
Wrapping up the Nightline, China's top diplomat meet Indonesian President Joko Widodo and his successor Prabowo Subianto earlier today as Beijing seeks to boost its regional influence. The meetings come after Prabowo visited Beijing this month, where Chinese President Xi Jinping praised relations with Jakarta, laying out a vision for regional peace as tensions rise between Beijing and other Southeast Asian neighbors, including the Philippines, over the disputed South China Sea.
Indonesian Defense Minister Prabowo stormed to a first-round majority victory in Indonesia's presidential election in February. He has voiced support for developing closer ties with Beijing. Wang also met Indonesian Foreign Minister Retno Marsudi earlier on Thursday before visiting Widodo, more popularly known as Jokowi, at the presidential palace and then Prabowo at the defense ministry. Retno said Jokowi and Wang expressed their desire for regional peace and stability and repeated calls for a de-escalation and ceasefire in Gaza between Israel and Hamas. Beijing's top diplomat will then chair a session of the China-Indonesia High-Level Dialogue Cooperation Mechanism on Friday before traveling to Cambodia and Papua New Guinea. China is one of the biggest sources of foreign direct investment in Indonesia and has poured billions of dollars into projects in the archipelago nation. Indonesia's foreign policy is typically neutral, and Jakarta walks a delicate diplomatic tightrope in its relations between Beijing and Washington, who are chafing over trade, Ukraine, the Middle East, Taiwan, and the South China Sea. Chinese companies have plowed money into the extraction of Indonesian natural resources in recent years, particularly the nickel sector, where Beijing's spending has stoked unrest over pay and working conditions. Jakarta inaugurated Southeast Asia's first high-speed rail line last year, also a multi-billion-dollar project backed by Beijing.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally. For more headlines anytime, anywhere, just head on to our official website at tvsarawak.my or follow us on our social media platforms. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Handy Gui. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.